This new moon energy in Gemini is here to help you express, expand, and elevate into your highest timeline. So come and let me share with you 5 A's to help you activate the divine intelligence inside of you so you can awaken to your highest blueprint of this lifetime. Let's go! Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Harmony. I'm a twin flame expert helping twin flames around the globe face fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Welcome to my weekly glow show. Today's topics, we're going to talk about the energy of the new moon in Gemini here on June 3rd, 2019. And if you happen to come in after this date, I want you to know that this message is to expand beyond here. This energy for this new moon is all about us being able to express, expand, and elevate everything that we've been working on up to this point. And it's all coming together at the same time. And that is why it's so intense, because we're elevating at our highest rate, our highest potential, our highest power for our highest good, and in every area of our life, love, and livelihood. And we're also doing that both internally and externally because we're bringing into reality now in our 3D reality, we're bringing and merging those things together. So I think before I start and dive into this, I just want to say a couple things about this topic. First of all, this was a last minute topic. I didn't wake up today to think that I was going to do a video for this new moon energy because I've been doing a ton of my own personal processing, integrating, and basically living what I'm about to share with you today. And then that's how I also knew that I was able to know to show up here to share this message with you. And I really confirmed it when I was going for a run with Champ and I saw 2 twin airplanes. It's like the Amelia Earhart airplanes that was paralleling together in the sky really low, and this energy is twin energy, right? And it's all about being light and air. And basically taking all of that air is taking everything that we've done out there and that we've been planting the seeds, we've been doing the root work, and now it's all like taken out there, and we may not fully see it yet, but it's being taken out to bring back to us through these cycles that we keep going through for the purpose of awakening our soul's blueprint to its highest timeline. Now, what a highest timeline means is your highest reality. And that means what is your greatest potential within reality of your 3D space, your 3D world. But through creating these cycles, of bringing everything into your reality, you're doing this root work that's not seen before it becomes your reality. And so today I want to share with you 5 A's to help you activate the divine intelligence within you so that it will actually awaken your soul's blueprint to its highest timeline in order for you to learn to surf the wave of riding these peaks of highs and lows, because I am telling you what I'm going to share with you today is how you learn to dance the twin flame dance. Because so many people are waiting for it to end. They're waiting to come to a closure. And it's creating resistance in the change and the actions and all these pieces that you're basically not collecting and putting together because you may not even be taking action towards the things that are challenges that are challenging you to take action. So then it accumulates and it's putting pressure on you and it's creating this buildup that's like this purge that needs to be released. But at the same token, the universal energies is creating a purge universally and within us because of that vibration. And so it's forcing you to have to speed up these cycles, which is another reason why it's intense. So I'm telling you that this energy and the new moon here is the perfect time to release all of this into that. And if you piggyback that with the 5 steps to awaken into your highest timeline, you're going to shift through this and get through exactly what this new moon energy is for the expression, the expansion, and the elevation of you and your highest potential in your highest reality of this lifetime in every area of life, love, and livelihood. And to keep in mind that it also becomes in creating balance, which is what I'm going to share with you, how these things are going to help you balance everything between, the life, love, and livelihood. Because technically, when you learn how to surf the wave in one of those areas, you've mastered how to do it in every area. And so now, before I dive into that, I also want to share a couple more things about this new moon, and then also some of my own personal revelations and some personal things I've been going through as to why I even showed up here today to share with you how it's done, because I actually had to go through this myself just in the last few days. Again, not that I haven't done it before, because actually these 5 A's I have actually taught for 4 years. Excuse me. And within that, they actually repositioned themselves today in a way that was a little different than I delivered them before, which is the accumulation of you learn in the process of how your pieces go together to get the bigger picture, and you keep moving and shifting and evolving through flow. And that's how our reality comes into place. Just like me shifting these 5 A's and them coming into place. So in the new moon, let's talk about this for a second, because it can get confusing for people thinking that new moons is all about bringing new things or implementing new things. And they are. It really is. The new moons are for that. But what's even more important to look at within that, it is about setting attention and intention. But in order to set the intention, but to receive what you set the intention for, you have to be open to receiving it. You have to have space for it. And if you create the space for it, your manifesting ability and your receptivity, because of your receptivity, your manifesting ability results will become more lightning speed to receive what it is you are wanting to manifest. And to realize that what you do receive is the accumulated collection of previous actions that you have taken that are now coming into play at this given space and time. But at the same token, it's taking space. So at the same parallel piggyback timeline here, you have to think about, okay, I might be receiving this, but this is always moving. So on the flip side of that, what do I still need to let go of to create more space here to keep moving? And it's where you're not creating the space, or you're not following through with the things you need to do and taking accountability and action for that. And it's getting you stuck in the cycle and in the flow of this dance that I'm talking about. So you need to, in this new moon timeline, you need to not only think about your new intentions, you need to revisit and look at what is it that you need to let go of to create the space for that intention to show up for, which calls for letting go, which you typically think of as in the new moon. However, they do synchronistically go together in that thought process. So, as I mentioned, everything is coming full cycle, full circle, and it's doing it internally, externally, it's doing it life, love, and livelihood in all areas of your life. And so one of the things I want to tell you how this kind of shifted into my space is that in these cycles, I showed you, I think it was a couple weeks ago, I showed you that cycle and that peak. And I actually kind of meant to bring that into this to show you again, but I didn't. But basically, we, in a cycle of this, we're like, what do we got to let go of to create the space? And then what actions or what's coming in that space? And the way the two come together is in a diamond pattern. and each of those patterns and flows of cycles come together, creating X marks the spot I was talking about. I'll make sure to link that video to this video so you can go back to it if you missed it. But in those X marks the spot between those cycles, that is the place of the dance between the resistance of where you got to learn to dance and ride these waves. And so I guess, you know, another thing I want to say to this is in these cycles, you could think of it in terms, I talked about the twin flame maze. And the twin flame maze is where you're here, you come into an entrance of this journey here, and then you're trying to accomplish getting through the maze on the exit to get out of the maze. And along the path, there's only one way in and one way out, but everything else will lead you down a path that either comes to a complete dead end or will send you back where you started. And on the same path, it will send you back. Meaning there's really no one path, but you got to keep exiting to get through these paths in order to come through the other side of this journey. And on the flip side of that, then as we kind of take these veers off, there is no right or wrong way, because we will take the exit that gives us the reroute, basically, that we need for our soul's evolution and journey for its lesson. But what I've been personally doing is just this, bringing all of these pieces together in every area of my life, life, love, and livelihood. And also knowing I'm doing the collective work to show you how, and to know that there's so many people going in circles with this, that not only do we have our normal typical cycles of these highs and lows, but in that we have the circles and the reroutes and the dead ends. And that's the maze. So my question became personally visiting this and asking universe, which is what I do most of the time. And that's going to be our first day we're going to talk about in a minute, because sometimes we forget to ask our higher self. We forget to ask the universe. We forget to ask our guides and angels to direct us to that highest good, and to direct us and ask for understanding and to be able for us to then create awareness out of it. So we understand, or to show us, to reveal it to us. And so what we're asking for in this is what I've been shown through my own lessons in this, is what needs cleared, corrected, or collected. What do we need to clear in our path? What do we need to correct within our path of the programming of what's not working, and how can we revisit that and implement the new templates, the new way, the new actions, the new patterns? And then in our collection of that, what lessons did we need to take away from that? What awarenesses do we need to take away from that? And what's going to support our highest good to get our awakening to the next level? Because every one of these cycles we go through, each time that cycle we go through, that high and the low of heaven to hell, and we'll always have the dark and the shadow, and we'll always have both sides of the coin. We won't get rid of one or the other, and that's what people are trying to do, get rid of one or the other. It won't happen, and that's where you're fighting and resisting it, and you're not falling into flow and learning how to dance in the twin flame dance, or you're not learning how to surf the wave that I've been teaching people how to do. So, you know, in all of this that I said, what are we clearing, collecting, and clearing, correcting, and collecting? I've been visiting personally within some things and in multiple areas, because I always say, if I'm going to talk the talk, I'm going to walk the walk. And I basically started asking through this process of what I've been being seen for me personally and clients I've worked with, and looking at the collective, everybody's getting in this maze. And I'm like, in my awareness, that has to be faster than this. We don't have to take all of these reroutes that we're taking. Of course, we might need to if our soul's not waking up, right? But how can we get beyond that? How can we awaken to our highest timeline? How can we bypass some of this? How can we skip it and keep going on the right direction? And you know what I got to tell you is, when you ask such questions as that, you better be prepared from the universe to follow through and to pay attention to what shows up, or what actions you have to take, or what awarenesses you get, because you will. And you will be put through, and potentially through even test of things to get that knowledge and that wisdom. But the sooner you understand, that's why these 5A's, and understanding these 5A's, and you understand what's happening, then the faster you can let go and go with the flow and not be hanging on to, oh my God, what's wrong? What did I do wrong? Why am I still going through this cycle? What's happening? And that makes it more intense the more you resist it. And that's why you're repeating the negative pattern that you don't need to be in. And the universe is also creating, because it's such a higher vibration, we're having more of a rapid shift in letting go, a rapid shift in awakening, a rapid shift in our manifestation. Everything's happening so much more rapidly, which is where this Gemini moon of expression, expansion, and elevation is coming from. Excuse me, I drank some kombucha earlier this morning, or a little bit ago, and I can feel it kind of coming up into my throat. So it's almost like it's trying to like erupt, like what's coming out. I can feel the stuff coming out of me like in that way. So it's like, it's interesting how it's trying to bolt out. Okay. So basically now I want to share with you a little bit about, let me make sure that I want to go there. I want to share with you how my personal sort of like maze cycle of this, at least to a very high level, because let me tell you, it's a lot deeper than what I'm going to share with you, and eventually there'll be more come through it, I'm sure, in my writing. And I just want to make sure we're ready to shift into that. But the point of me telling you that is so you can see the wave and the example, and then put that as your own mirror example, and then we'll use the 5A's to show you how I went through that cycle of how I actually even, brought this full circle and full cycle for my own understanding to be able to show up here today to share with you, so you can do the same thing. And with that, I want to say I am ready to talk about, it feels like, my own example. What I want to say to that as I do so is that, you got to really know when to trust this process and show, like, for instance, me showing up here today. I've been on this path of needing to write, and I don't think I fully mentioned this in the fullest, that I received a contract for my Twin Flame Oracle card deck that I wrote about in Twin Flame Codebreaker just very recently, and it is with one of the publishers that's the #1 largest publisher in the world for tarot card decks. And it's taking my deck that I've been working on for 2.5 years, it's taking it into mass distribution within the next year and a half. But now I have some timelines on that, and in that deck has, if you read my book about where the birth of that deck or the concept of that deck came from, it's been the representation of my entire twin flame journey for the last 2.5 years. It was actually that for 4 years, but over the last 2.5 years, it's went on its own path of how it was going to become birthed through my journey. And it took many twists, many turns, and it's bizarre at the arrival of its completion and going out through the way it is. And the deck technically got completed just before it went to the publisher, that went through very smoothly for the contract, and then that put it back in my lap to write the book for the cards. And then I thought, and then that also, I got to tell you, put deadlines and completion dates on submissions that I haven't been used to really having on me, because everything goes in flow for me, because I've learned how to do this dance. But I wasn't worried about it, because I'd been in a 2 to 3 month cycle of just everything dropping in, and hanging on to nothing. And if I have a project, it just comes through, and it like, I allow it to come in, and I can create something quickly, and I don't hang on to anything, and I just keep moving. And when I hit a block, I don't push that block. I go with the flow and shift in where things are moving. But because I was in that space of writing that, it was taking me back through my twin flame journey, and some pieces of it that felt like an old timeline, that felt like pieces that I couldn't open up into, or I couldn't tap into. And so I kept maneuvering this energy of trying to write through this. And there's it's a 5-suit deck. And one of the suits is activation codes to help you accelerate your ascension faster. And in that, I was directed through this path to get started with those activations. And this was not conscious. This was not all of my awareness, but it was happening. And in it, I was following the flow, the energy of this, not being aware, but all I could do was trust where I was going with this stuff of what I've learned to do. And in that, then I didn't realize even what was happening. And I'll tell you why in this 5 A's pattern, but I got my awarenesses, but it was activating me, doing the activations and writing it to the point where, it activated me to the degree that I created a new program for our clients that is called Awaken Your Soul Blueprint. And it's a 6-session course. And it's like more of an advanced course in some ways, but it's an accelerated process of this course. But in it, like, I had also been being shown my Reboot Your Soul Blueprint. That particular program had been out there for 4 years, and I was being shown it still serves a purpose. It still has an audience, but there's an audience that's now in the new timeline needing something new to support them in a faster way to catch up to where these people are or what they need to do, like these different pieces. And in that, those activation codes created 6 entirely new types of sessions that has to do with soul retrievals, the heart retrievals, inner child retrieval, the Holy Grail codes of activation, and basically coming into a place of restoring, all your pieces and collecting all of that. At the same time, what still needs to be released and how can we activate that on a level it's going to accelerate this process for you. And at the end of the day, what it was all about is doing this process of these sessions basically are going to create the awakening you need to be in your highest timeline. But in that process of that coming together, not to just that come together, it came together in a retreat that is a weekend retreat that it is got all of these codes in it and all these activations and all these transmissions and all these pieces that I was personally like going through these awakenings and these activations of these codes, what they were doing to me as I was writing. I was then like funneling into like all this whole retreat thing or the program and the retreat, and they were paralleling out of me. And what I got to tell you is, I'm not kidding when I say to you, I didn't even know that was coming. Now, granted, I laid the foundation of the pieces, but the pieces like went boom like that in the middle of this activation, and I had to know how to shift and maneuver through these 5 A's that I'm talking about to be able to maneuver taking and bringing it into form, which is what we're trying to do. And the thing I want you to know that's mind-blowing in this, I was being stuck for 2 to 3 weeks in writing, but the minute I understood what was happening and the channels open, I literally in 3 days created the program for the clients and also the retreat, and actually launched off the retreat yesterday. And I'm going to put a link below for you, because this is going to be so powerful that I'm having this retreat here in St. Louis. And I've been talking about this grid work we're doing and about how these codes and activations is going to help to go through all of this awakening to help you basically unlock your hidden potential, transform your life, and in the process, heal the world as we anchor this energy in. And I've also, with the grid work I was being shown, and I told you about, that this event is going to be for, I was shown 22 people to be here in St. Louis, that not only do we like heal and awaken our highest timeline, but then in that highest timeline, we are raising that collectiveness. But then these 22 people are to go home through the archway of this diamond light energy activation and anchored in their spaces of sharing and healing the earth as part of it. Now, as this came and unfolded to me without like any consciousness, just I'm going with it and allowing it. And basically that happened through me hitting some walls of some very personal things within my own journey of the twin flame journey, of looking at, like, knowing where, like, everything's moving forward in certain areas of my life, and then certain areas that were going on mazes. And I knew how to get out of the maze on these, but these were like not coming to my awareness. So in that, I began to implement and use these 5 A's to awaken to my highest soul blueprint and activate the divine intelligence inside of me, so that I could connect to my highest timeline to bring that into my reality. And to do that, you do have to work within, like, what's in your reality at this moment, and your highest good for, this moment, your highest good for this year, your highest good for this lifetime. So remember, there's these multiple timelines going on within it, and there's the past stuff that you got to make sure that you're cleared. So let's talk about those 5 A's then that you can implement through this timeline of this new moon energy, so you can do the same thing and start bringing into form all these things that you're being asked to bring into form, and use this new moon energy to help you express it, to expand it, elevate it, and then bring it in to your reality, so that you're harmonizing your internal and your external at your highest timeline of your highest reality, and you don't have to go through this twin flame maze and keep going in circles. Now see, the cycles won't end, but the circles of chasing your tail need to end. And that's where people get confused, because I've heard a lot of comments about here, in the last video or two, oh, I was doing great for 6 months now, I think one of them said. And now that after 6 months, I'm revisiting it all again. And then that puts you in a place of sabotage, or looking at what's wrong, right? And what I'm telling you is, you will have those highs and lows to have all of you, but you don't have to chase your tail in the middle of it to get you stuck, okay? So the first A is to ask. Ask what needs cleared, ask what needs corrected and collected. And that is, what do you need to let go of? That is basically your thoughts, feelings, actions, your patterns of action, your people, your reality. What are the pieces you still need to clear? And I got to tell you, in that, like, that will help you then take and gain back your power once you clear them, because I had to do some actions yesterday that I never saw coming, ever. And I look back and it all makes sense. But I had asked, right? I had said, what do I need to clear, correct, or collect? And I cleared the path of what was blocking me and my biggest challenge, and I corrected it by understanding what was I needed to do for action, and then I collected back my power in the process of that. And I don't care about the outcome. I don't care about the outcome. It's not about the outcome. It's about removing the limitation that was blocking me from going forward in every area of my life. And that is powerful stuff, folks. So you, in that, what I'm saying to ask, what you need to do, you need to, like, come into a place of readiness to take responsibility and accountability for your own reality. And to know that in that place, you may not be aware of what it is that's blocking you, what it is you need to connect and reconnect with, what it is that you need to, like, collect back. But that's okay, as long as you show up and say, I'm going to take responsibility for it. I'm going to take accountability, which means whatever actions and consequences come that I have to face, I will be willing to do that. So I'm going to ask my higher soul, my highest self, my universe, and all my guides and angels to show me, to reveal to me, to let me see what it is that is blocking me, and why is this cycle continuing, and why do I keep going down these paths, and why am I hitting these dead ends? It's this simple, but it's so simple we don't even think to ask. And quite honestly, I do this all the time. And about that particular thing, especially this one particular thing, I didn't ask until I did, and then it was revealed. And I had to be ready to take action. And I had to like shift through it really quickly to be able to do that. So out of the awareness then, out of the asking then creates the awareness. See? So then what it is you pay attention after you've asked to your awarenesses, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. And you start to be like awakening sort of. And it's not the full awakening you get out of the outcome of this, but you start to basically start getting more dots, I guess would be the best way to put it, about what's not working, what needs cleared, what does need corrected, what in my beliefs and patterns, and what is in my internal space that's just not feeling right, right? And then you pay attention to all of this. And as you become aware of your dots and start getting these pieces that are like a piece of the puzzle as to why you're being blocked, at that point in that awareness, which is number 2 of these 5 things, you basically then you may not know what to do about it, right? But you then put it into the next one, which is accomplish, you want to accomplish breaking the cycle. You want to accomplish letting go of what doesn't serve your purpose anymore. And basically that's setting an intention is what it's doing. And it's setting intention that you want to change your actions, that you want to change your thoughts. And the other thing about that is that remembering that our actions that we took in the past is, let me see how I'm going to word this. Okay, what happens is in your focus and your perception, when you have these awarenesses, what you do is you basically start looking at your perception gets wrong. You get stuck on the sabotage of what you didn't do that got you there, okay? Or you get stuck on the fact that you haven't shifted yet. Or you get stuck on the fact that what you're feeling and maybe you're trying to produce in that moment of that particular what you want to accomplish, that it hasn't been accomplished yet, you haven't manifested it yet, so you're looking at the wrong picture. You're not looking at how far you came, you're looking at where you're not at yet. So in our intention, the ammunition that's going behind it is sabotaging, if you let it, the results of it manifesting and coming into your reality. And the other thing I got to tell you about this, another very important part of this is, I had this awareness when I was walking today, so I'll give you an example of that, but you get stuck on the dream, as in you may have set a dream and you may have set a goal, but you didn't reach it. But the problem and why you didn't reach it was because it's in an old timeline. You've evolved and expanded and you've moved past that timeline. And now you have something that's better for your higher good than that particular thing. And you're still stuck on why you didn't get that, instead of being open to like that particular dream and intention and that goal you had. Now you might have a better one. Now you might have a higher one. And that intention needs to be shifted and moved to a new dream, a new reality. So in these intention setting and what it is you want to accomplish, you really, where we're at in this phase of the game, are needing to come with a clean slate and let go of what's not serving your purpose anymore. And that is not just the things that are the negative things, but the things that might have been to your highest good at one time. And they might even still be highest good ideas or concepts, but they're not of your highest good, you know? And in this new moon and going forward, as I said, we're trying to bring into expression, into a reality, okay? We're trying to expand these things and we're trying to elevate it. And that will support our highest good right now versus being limited to like we're here and we think we want to be here, but like we have a chance to go here. And we're too stuck on this, and it's creating us, pulling us out of the higher timeline that's downgrading our energy even though we're not here yet. And it's big. This is like a big thing is what I'm saying, and how this really came to my awareness for me today. As I was walking Champ, I was going through this neighborhood that I live by, and it's a neighborhood that was my dream neighborhood about probably 20 years ago. And in that dream neighborhood, it was like, you know, the big house, the beautiful yard, the, you know, family time frame where you needed all that space and just, you know, a 3D material type thing that felt like it would have been a sense of accomplishment and that I would have loved that. And somewhere in it, every time I would go to get that in that time and space, I was always off by a little bit. And it pissed me off. So I tried harder, and I was always sabotaging it because I would be, you know, to go to buy that home, which I went to do many times, and I would either be just under a few $1,000s in income to have that particular home, or just over the debt to income ratio that every time would be right there to get the loan for that particular home that was in my dream, but not manifesting due to this little bitty hair of being off. Set up a cycle of sabotage, right? Now, in the space where I'm at now, I'm loving my condo that's fully furnished, that gives me limited maintenance. I have no children anymore, and I have a 25-foot deck that is my oasis. And I live around the corner from this neighborhood, but I get to travel and I get to be free, right? You think I ever want one of those homes in that kind of a family home neighborhood anymore? It's beautiful. I don't need it no more. I don't need it. I could shoot for that. It doesn't serve my highest good anymore, right? I need to be, you know what, my highest good is really getting to a place that I'm traveling around and being light and free. And I've been telling some of you that I'm moving and I don't know when, but this is where, you know, I'll talk about this. I guess I'll jump ahead just a little bit of the action that's a piece of this. Being more proactive in your actions versus reactive. Because we see the things we got to take care of and then it's reactive. Oh, we got to handle this and do this and da, 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 da. Instead of being proactive, for instance, in this case I'm talking about, instead of waiting to be like, okay, when I move, I go through all this stuff, which I don't even have a lot anyway, because when I downsized down, got rid of 95% of everything I've owned, I don't have a lot to manage, but I can tell I've accumulated a little bit. I can tell that I need to go down a little bit more with where I want to go and the things I want to do and not to transport and go back through my storage and what I didn't let go of then, let go of it now. So I'm feeling this need to purge this stuff again. And I've been working on it since I said that a few months ago. If you followed me, I said that on a video. So that's being proactive. No, that's what I'm telling you. In our actions, we need to learn to be proactive, not reactive in our actions we take, to where we're planning ahead for these higher timelines, rather than being like catching up all the time. And to catch up, we have to let go of the ones that don't serve as purpose anymore to get to the ones that we're taking action for that haven't manifested or beyond for our highest good, versus being stuck on the idea that we need this home that's in this neighborhood that doesn't support my highest good anymore. You see what I'm saying in this? So that was, I want to repeat. So in these 5 A's, you got to ask for what needs cleared, corrected, or collected. What out of that then, what awarenesses are you going to gain from those things that you are asking for to show up, so you can get your awareness and your little nuggets of what needs to come through. Then you need to set your intentions, which is your accomplish, what I want to accomplish in those things that came up in my awareness. And then you want to affirm something before you actually take your action. You want to affirm by, and I feel this as an affirmation. It's an affirmation, and give me 1 second. I'm going to tell you this affirmation is for your new moon affirmation, okay? And in this 5 A's. So I'm open, willing, and ready to take back my power and to take responsibility and ownership for my own reality. I'm willing, open, willing, and ready to take back my power. And to do so, I need to take ownership, responsibility, and action to align with my highest reality. That came through a little better that time. It was coming in. So that is number 4. So we're asking, we're getting awareness, what do I want to accomplish? And we're affirming that. Now we want to take action. And in the reaction part, that creates resistance. And the reason it creates resistance is because it means we have to move in directions that create fear. We have to face our fears. We have to go through obstacles and challenges, which means it tests our trust in the process. It means that we have to step into an understanding of divine timing, like for instance, in the divine timing of should I be writing today or showing up to do this video for you guys to get on board with this, and knowing when to get in the flow of that. Am I going to be working ahead towards what's my highest good in my actions, or am I going to be working on things that don't serve my purpose? And the most importantly, am I going to get it wrong? Because in this space, we start questioning, am I taking the right actions? Because I don't want to end back up through the maze of doing the maze again, right? And so you get stuck doing nothing because it takes more time and attention on the maze and the craziness and the cycles of insanity that we need to let go of the story in order to come into this space and a new timeline, a new era above us to our highest reality. And we're tested in this process, in these actions. We're tested by things that we're being represented with then that aren't always the maze. It's the opportunity to repeat the same thing we've done a new way and to create the new template for our new actions. And that we're letting go of those old patterns in the process. And I've run into a lot of clients that's been doing this lately. They're getting this far and they're taking action and they're thinking they're doing this, but they're still trying to use their put the square peg in the round hole and use their actions and the way that they handled and did everything in the past that's still not working and still makes you feel like you're beating your head against a brick wall. And that's depleting. That will rob you of your energy, time, talent, and attention. And it will block you from going forward to the highest timeline as well. And so in this process then, I invite you to just say yes to this journey in this space. Say yes to you'll take what actions and then start facing your fears. And that's what I teach people. Face your fears, find freedom. And let me tell you, I faced some fears yesterday. And in that facing fears, I had to do some things in action that I never saw coming, but I was set up for it. I asked to get out of the maze. I asked to stop doing the reroute, right? I asked to go to my highest timeline. And that's whenever you get into really going with this flow, it comes in, and that's how you keep moving fast. And that's how you go faster, because you're not spinning your wheels. You're putting your energy into the pieces and the parts, and you're going through all 5 of these A's to activate yourself to your highest divine awakening, to that highest divine blueprint quicker, faster. And if it's not moving with me, I know it's going away at that moment. That's where you got to start then learning how to discern in which area of your life it maybe needs your attention most, where there's some balance in that, or which action, it needs to be taken more of an internal or an external, or what, when, where, because they're all need to be taken action for. But it's a matter of then also discerning maybe between what's the heart of something versus secondary, because a lot of times people spin their wheels going secondary. What you're doing is, let me give you an example. Champ has had a prostate infection, and there's a lot about that I'm not going to go into here, but he clears for the collective. And, you know, he's been on antibiotics for 6 weeks and like nothing's killing the infection. And okay, then I know there's something deeper. And then I start working with Mariella to do testing on him. And, you know, he's got some parasite energies that's robbing him, that's creating these parasites, that's continuing the infection. And you can take antibiotics to clear the infection all day long, but if you don't get to the root of why you're going to keep, you're basically clearing all these parasites versus getting to the heart. You're clearing all of the debris from the parasites rather than killing the parasites. Okay, which by the way is a part of the clearing I've been doing personally, and with him it put me into it, clearing parasites not only physically but energetically. With him, put me into the energy of clearing that and clearing out pieces of energy being robbed through energetic parasites. So you might want to add that to your list if you're being robbed of energy from different things. So taking action is the resistance area. If you're feeling resistance, it's because you're not following through with action. And you're in that space, you're going in circles, chasing your tail, trying to figure out how to get out the twin flame maze. And you're repeating the cycles over and over until you get the lessons. And that's just how it is. And then all 5 of those A's is helping you then to awaken and activate the divine intelligence inside of you that will help you awaken to the big picture. Now you put your pieces together. The awakening, what that does is, it's like the oh my God moments. It's like the bigger picture that yesterday, and I had clients that's done this multiple in this week, more than one, and I followed my clients yesterday in this trail of a million pieces being colliding at one time in every area of my life, and everything making sense to the beginning of this twin flame journey, to the beginning of my entire life. And when you have these awakenings, then what it does is it sends you through a process of processing, integration, and integrating all those pieces to create the actions that really might either still need to come, or you've came full circle in that particular cycle of your soul's evolution. And now you get to ride the wave in that space until it comes again. Because our soul will forever be evolving. And so you will never get out of the cycle of this, but you can get out of the maze of this chasing your tail in the middle of this cycle and quit going in circles in the cycle. All right? So use this new moon energy to help you be able to rise up and to earn your wings and to be able to soar to your greatest, highest potential and timeline. And I am just so excited about this retreat that I'm doing. And if it is resonating in your heart at all to be one of those 22 people to come here to help me facilitate and support this energy and to awaken to your highest timeline, then I invite you to go below. I'll have the link below and get signed up today. And I got to tell you, I've done a lot of programs for 20 something years and like for people. And I've said this a couple times along the way, but just like we're always evolving at this given moment, this has been my biggest collision of dots of what to deliver for you guys, which is exactly what today is about also. So today's like a preview of for you to take into this new moon to awaken to your highest timeline that we're talking about here through these 5 A's of activation of your divine intelligence. And then if you need additional support or help, I have a program that I just created. You'll find out in on my website below, and in the services that I offer, as well as being able to show up at the retreat. Wow. I'm just really, I got to tell you, I'm speechless based on my own understanding, my own wisdom. It's my intention that you learn how to shift these shifts and ride these waves and learn this twin flame dance. That's why I'm showing up here. And I got out of the perfectionism of, well, I didn't do my hair today and I just went for a run, and like I need to be writing, and on because I didn't plan this. And this potentially, I feel like, is probably one of the best content information that I'm putting out there for you as well. And if it is, I want to hear about it. I want to hear how this new moon energy is impacting you. So make sure that you like, comment, share the shine below, subscribe, hit the notification button so you know when I've posted my videos. And may you always face your fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Namaste.